Today we'll be talking about the three branches of government. So this is going further into the Constitution. As you learned in the last lesson, the first three articles in the Constitution are about the three branches of government. Article 1 would be about the legislative branch. Article 2 tells all about the executive branch. And Article 3 goes into more detail about the judicial branch. So your success criteria for today is I will be able to list and briefly describe the three branches of government. Okay, here we go. Three branches. So here are the three branches. So I just went over them: legislative branch, executive branch, judicial branch. Okay, and so those are the three that we're going to go into more detail about. But if you remember, back when we were talking at the beginning of the Constitution, we talked about how Montesquieu taught and talked about and wrote about that we should divide power in the government, that it shouldn't, one person shouldn't have the power. And so he talked about dividing it between different branches and separating the powers. Okay, one of the principles we talked about was separation of powers. We have separate powers, checks and balances, how each of these branches check each other and limit each other so that one branch doesn't have too much power. Okay, so first let's talk about the judicial branch. So the judicial branch, if you think of the word judicial, this has to do with judges and courts. So their main job is to interpret or judge the law. Okay, they interpret or judge the law. And the Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, is the group that leads this branch. They are the highest court, and so they have the final say on a decision about what follows the Constitution and what doesn't. Okay, that is the judicial branch. Next, we have the executive branch. The executive branch executes or enforces the laws. When I say execute, I mean, like, think of your basketball coach or soccer coach drawing up a play on the sideline, okay, that you need to execute. So to execute in that sense means that you're going to follow the plan. You're going to follow what your coach has told you to do. So that's the job of the executive branch. Now, the president of the United States, is the person who leads this branch. They are in charge. Now, they are not the only part of the executive branch. There are multiple people and multiple agencies that are a part of the executive branch. The president has advisors close to him, and they are part of the executive branch as well. Finally, we have the legislative branch, and their job is to make the laws. Okay, they make the laws. So Congress is the group that leads this branch. And as you're going to learn, there are two parts to Congress. The Constitution lays out in Article 1, Section 1, that Congress will be made up of a Senate and House of Representatives. So there are two groups that make up Congress. So those are the basics about the three branches. Today's lesson is simply an overview about the three branches of government. And as we go through the next videos, you're going to go into more detail about each of these branches and the responsibilities that they have and the power that they have and the limits that they have and who they can check, who they can limit, and who can limit them. So this is just the beginning. So right here it shows you. So you have the legislative branch. So again, made up of Congress. And Congress, as I just mentioned, is made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives. Okay, you have in the middle the executive branch. The president is the head of the executive branch. And finally, you have the judicial branch, and the Supreme Court is the head of the judicial branch.